All right, everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of Game Wild Live. Unless you're listening to it tomorrow on the podcast app, and then it's not live anymore. But just so you guys know, we've been doing this a couple of weeks now. We don't always have our specific time just because of life and family and all that stuff. So if you are...
Life, what's that? Video games are life, man. Come on.
Right, exactly. So if you are interested in interacting with us and listening to us live, please make sure that you are liking all of our channels. You are following us on our Twitch channels, which is Ruffhouse Plays and Shit Just Works, because we go live on those. And if you follow us on all of our social medias, we try to also blast it out to all of our Facebook friends, Twitter followers, and such, that we are going live. So if you don't know what time we're going live, it's because we might not know either. But when we are ready, we post it on those sites. And if you're following us on Twitch, you'll get the notification that we're going live. And Shit Just Works actually is the one who runs the podcast live, and then I just host him. But both of our channels are live, so if you'll get the notifications from both of us. So
Yeah.
it's no big deal. But we wanted to let that know because we want to interact with you more, and we feel like our interactions are starting to go up, but we want to push it a little bit more on the live side of things. So please, if you are interested in interacting with us, just
Do it up.
Following us on all the social medias, and you are also following us on Twitch.
Speaking of interacting, what is up, Slap Funky, joining us in the chat today? How you doing, my dude?
Noise.
Yeah. So, oh man, I'm excited though. I'm excited for another episode of Game Wild 30. We are on 30 now. Holy but
I know.
Jesus.
We turned 30, and I can't wait for for 40, because then we can play that Will Ferrell line.
Well, we'll get there soon enough.
Man, sure. I'm 40.
So, okay. So we kind of figured out the question of the week kind of last minute this week.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of excited about it now because I also am going to have a follow-up question of the week that I just thought about, Joe. So just wait for it. But we're going to start with the regular question of the week. And Slap Funky, if you want, or anybody else in chat, definitely feel free to give us your answer as well. Very curious to see who else.
If you have one, sure.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
Honestly,
curious.
I got to say, I've been thinking about this, and I haven't played a lot of what the question of the week is.
Okay, so we're just going to all right. The question of the week is, what was your favorite remake game? Or what is your favorite remake game currently?
Right.
And I am going to open up the floor to you first, Ruffhouse.
Oh, well, because I know what yours is.
Yo, this one's an easy
one. I don't know what yours is. I don't even know if you could guess what mine is.
I'm going to... Resident Evil?
You got it.
So no, really?
Yeah, the original Resident Evil.
Hey!
I had so much love and passion for that game when it first came out. I still remember getting a Game Pro.
Oh,
you remember what a Game Pro was?
I found an old Game Pro magazine the other day. Okay, hold on, keep talking. I'm gonna try to find the Game Pro.
Okay, so he's gonna go find the Game Pro magazine. But for all you listeners out there, basically it was like this expose on Resident Evil and the zombies, and I still remember the face of the zombie on the cover of the expose inside Game Pro, and it was just so amazing. And it just hits home that I just played the heck out of that game. And then you have the remake that happened. It's not a remaster, it was a remake. So basically they added more stuff to it, and obviously the graphics were updated, but they added little other things to the game that were pretty cool. And so I gotta say,
okay,
it was my favorite, but I have to tell you, it's one of the only ones that I replayed as a remaster or redone. So,
dude, I found it.
You found it. I saw you
dude,
you float around it. But
well, so I guess I collect a lot of video game stuff, and I guess I actually found, going through all my stuff the other day, for whatever reason, I've kept a lot of my Game Informer magazines that I get through subscription. Mm-hmm. So I have, maybe I can get rid of them one day. I don't know, but I have basically every one since, I don't know, 2008 maybe. And I guess I used to have a subscription to GamePro, which I don't know who actually made GamePro back in the day. But anyways, well, no, there's a website that is GamePro now. I just forget what it is that's associated with it. But anyways, yeah, right here, GamePro magazine, if you guys can see it. X-Men Legends. This is,
remember that game? That was awesome.
So this is August 2004, edition 191, which is pretty insane.
What's that?
So
16 years? Wow.
So yeah, it's quite a long time ago, and it's the only one that I had. Everything else is Game Informer, but just kind of cool that you brought up Game Pro. Figured I'd throw it out there. So glad I
Right.
nailed it, though. I'm
So,
glad I.
glad you nailed it. So I'll nail yours. Final Fantasy VII remake.
Why you seem so excited? I know that one was. That's
If
yeah.
it
It was
wasn't as obvious as it was, I would probably be a little bit more excited.
yeah, it was. That's really obvious. Like listen, that game. I've waited 20 years for that game. So like, let's be honest.
No, I gotcha.
The first one came out in 1997. I'm pretty sure I started playing it in 1998. And so basically 22 years I've waited for that game to come out. It has finally come out, and I could not be a happier human being to finally see that game remade. So, yeah, it's. Oh, I'm so excited that it came out. It's just to explain it in a nutshell. Back then in the day, and this is actually we're going to get into this article too. So I guess I'll kind of segue into this New York Times article that we found. And the article in question was, again, it's from New York Times, and the title of the article is like old Hollywood movies, video games get a polish for new audiences. So I mention it because obviously, like, that's what Final Fantasy VII Remake is.
Mhm.
And in my opinion, like I used Godzilla earlier when I was talking to you, right? Like Godzilla
Mhm.
back in Jesus, Godzilla's been remade all the time. So you could go back to the 60s and probably
Did
find a
you
Godzilla
say
movie.
there was a movie called Godzilla versus Jesus?
Is there really?
Oh no,
Oh no no no. Okay, I was like, wait, what? I would be surprised
it
though.
was like Godzilla
So
Jesus. I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
so
interesting movie.
so anyways, that's been remade a million times. But like when I
Mhm.
see a Godzilla movie now, I know what to expect. Literally, all I'm looking for is okay, how amazing, awesome are the graphics now? Like,
Yeah,
did they
or
use
the
really cool
special effects.
CGI,
You
the
mean,
special
yeah.
effects? Yeah. So, or not graphics. Sorry, I'm talking about video games too. So, with Final Fantasy VII, and when you get a remake of a video game, so they remade Final Fantasy VII. So, in comparison, obviously the graphics are way better, the special effects, the CGI, all that stuff, and that was really what I was looking for with the remake. That's what most people
Right.
were because it was made so long ago. But the game itself has changed too, and that's something that you don't get with a movie remake. The most of the time, like, yeah, the storyline can be a little different. They could throw some twists and turns in there, but when you throw an element like gameplay into it, you have all these new things. Like back then there wasn't voice actors, now there's voice actors. There's always voices and sounds in movies, so you can't get that added bonus. There's just so much more, I think, when you remake a video game as opposed to a movie, in my opinion anyways.
No, I think you're right in that case. I think yes, you could get a lot of different types of things with certain movies. Like I feel like the older the movies get, the more you can add to it. So, like take Star Wars for example, when they remastered Star Wars, they didn't do a lot, but what they did, the little tweaks that they did, you could tell the difference between the original and what they remastered. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
the remastered versus the original and stuff like that. But they didn't remake those; they remastered those. So that's actually a poor example. But they added things to the
Yeah.
movie. But they didn't remake it; they remastered it. So
Mhm.
there is a difference there. But even going back to like movies that they remake, I can't even think of one that I felt was like truly better than the original. Do you know
Oh,
what I
a
mean?
remake of a movie? I
Yeah.
mean, that's tough.
Right?
That's really tough. I feel like most original movies are just like what's something that's been remade recently though? Well, okay, no, no, no,
Um,
no, no. Let's go. All right, most of
okay.
the superhero movies. Most of the
Well,
superhero movies, I'd say.
they never those aren't really been remakes. Those are like reboots. So I don't know. Like, there's
Oh
a
god, now
difference
we have a
between a remake versus
remake,
a
a
reboot.
reboot, and a like,
Right, like Spider-Man, for example. Spider-Man's been rebooted like 3
oh
times,
yeah, yeah.
right? So there's no difference. There's 3 Spider-Man, so there's 3
So
so
is
it's
there
like
ever
technically
like
fun with that.
was there ever like an origin superhero movie that was basically the same storyline that was remade? There has to be somewhere. Maybe Batman. Batman. Like Batman Begins? Was
No,
that
Batman Begins is different than any
the original
but
Batman?
to be honest with you, I mean, the beginning part is always the same. His parents
Well,
die.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's different variations of how his parents die, right? So it's either they're leaving a movie theater or they're leaving a full theater, like a actual theater. You
Mhm.
find out who the shooter was, you don't find out who the shooter was. Those types of things, like and it's a different shooter every time. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's just kind of one of those things. So they do variations on the same thing. The end result's the same, right? He becomes Batman. The way he becomes Batman differs greatly from the Tim Burton than from the Christopher Nolan, which is the ones that you're referencing.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Mhm.
So just things like that. It's like, so I don't know, that is kind of tough because even when you go to Godzilla, Godzilla is different. All those movies that they had, they in the original Godzilla, he's attacking Japan, right? In
Yeah.
the
Yep.
remakes, he's like in New
The
York.
remakes, they're
He's like
completely
attacking
different every
America.
single time.
They're
Yeah.
like, oh, we're Americanizing Godzilla. Let's put him in New York or LA or something. So honestly, I don't even know. But like when I look at a game like Resident Evil and them remaking it,
Mhm.
they basically used the same exact elements of the game. They added a few flashy things to it, and the graphics were updated.
Mhm.
But gameplay mechanics, things like that, were pretty much similar. Where with Final Fantasy, like you said, they reinvented the wheel on how the game played.
Okay,
Like
so wait,
it was not turn based anymore.
so you're calling Final Fantasy VII a remake, and then you're
Yeah.
calling Resident Evil a
No. Resident Evil was so they added new things to the story, so it's tough to say that that was a reboot. It was a
well, it's a
remake. It wasn't
remaster,
an
right?
enhancer. Well, see, no, because they added new things to it. So I'm wondering if that's technically a remaster because
What
they
exactly? Because I didn't play the remake. So what did they add
so
to the
they were
Resident Evil?
so they added extra gameplay. So basically they extended the story. There were other places
Okay.
you could go within the mansion that they updated
Yep, yep,
that
yep.
you that were not available at all in the original. But for the most part, the gameplay was pretty much the same. It was still the way you would do it. You pointed, you shot. It was clunky turning around a little bit.
Were
Still,
the
they
maps
did
and
make that a
stuff
little
the
bit
same?
smoother.
Like the environments, were they generally the same environments, just better graphics?
For the most part, yeah, but they made new environments. Like
They did
there
make new
was like a
environments. Okay,
basement.
it's a
So there
remake
was
then.
like a
Yeah.
so there was a basement area that you went to, and you found like this monster that was like tied up. I can't even remember. You learn more of the lore and stuff like
Mhm.
that. It just there's a lot of interesting things. Um, but yeah, so they both fall in the same part, but definitely Final Fantasy VII remake was more of a remake because they decided to change the entire way the
Oh, they
game
flipped the
functioned
whole thing on their head. Yeah,
because it's I mean there's so much difference between RTS and turn based.
Mhm.
So making it more real time than turn based totally like pushes it to a new level.
Well, and you know what I really like about the remake, in Final Fantasy VII remake in particular, and I think this is a spectacular business decision, was their ability to change it into multiple games. Like, so back in the day, we were on 3 discs for that game out of necessity
Mhm.
because discs could only
Right.
hold, X amount of
Mhm.
megabytes or whatever.
Oh,
So
that's right. So now we're out of 3 discs for greed.
now, yeah, now we're out of 3 discs just for like a smart marketing tactic and a business sales decision, right? So, but I like it because that means also, and although yes, they're getting more money out of our pocket, well, what do we get in return for the as the consumer, right? We get more gameplay, additional features, longer storylines. Because now, what would have been, because I think this first game is all in. I still haven't beaten it yet. This whole first game I think is in Midgar from what I've seen, which is just that first
Mhm.
city, which is generally when you're done with the first disc on the original one,
Mhm.
you leave Midgar on the motorcycle and then you're done with disc one. And like if you've how far are you? Did you play it?
I don't.
You haven't played it yet? Okay,
Nope.
so there's this part already in like chapter 6 or like 8
Spoiler alert, everybody.
in the beginning. Yeah, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. All right. I'm not gonna be too bad with this, but basically there's at the original game, there's a motorcycle that you use to get out of Midgar. And that last scene is like you jumping out of Midgar on the motorcycle, and then you're right outside the gate, and then it says insert this too. And in this game, there's you actually in chapter 6 or 8, you're in Midgar and you already do a motorcycle chase scene, but then you just go right back into Midgar. Like you haven't even done even like maybe a fifth of the original story, and you're already on a motorcycle. And so that just shows me that okay, now they're incorporating the motorcycle battle and stuff
Yep.
all like in the game and not just in that one point when you're escaping Midgar. So that's an
Sure.
example of just additional content that you're getting now because of their decision to span this game across 3 different games. So, I mean, yeah, you got to pay extra money to get the whole thing essentially, but I don't mind it because we're actually getting our money's worth. Like we're getting
Yeah.
individual games pretty much, which is pretty cool.
Do you know, did they announce whether or not the other discs are going to be the same amount as the first one? Are you going to be paying $60 for each disc?
Ooh, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they haven't, I don't think, announced it, but in all honesty, I would totally pay $60 for each one, and I have no problem doing it.
So you'd be willing to invest
Mhm.
$180 into a game that would have
Yep.
originally cost 60.
And that's why I think it's a good business decision, because I know there's a ton of people that feel the same way I feel because of the nostalgia of the game.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Now, actually, that brings up a good point. So if
What's
you read this New York Times article, they mentioned something. A lot of it, basically, what the article summarizes is that a lot of these decisions are based on nostalgia. They're set in nostalgia. Okay, this game, everybody loved playing it when they were 8 years old. Everybody loves seeing stuff from back when they were 8 years old. Like when I see Yu-Gi-Oh cards, my eyes like light up, right? Like because I loved Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid. So when I see Final Fantasy, all I think of is sitting on the floor with a tube TV with my friend next to me playing Final Fantasy, and that was the shit. That was amazing back then.
right?
So they're able to sell the shit out of this game because of the nostalgia and get people like me to, yeah, I actually am a-okay with spending almost $200 just to replay a game that I already
Well,
played.
yeah, I mean, I remember playing Final Fantasy 7 and it was Slim Jims and juice boxes, man.
Yeah, see, and you have this thing in your brain that's like, that was a good fun time. I want to recreate that good fun time. And at that point, when you're trying to do something like that, money's like not an object. It's just
Yeah.
I will do whatever I need to
I
do
don't think
to make that happen.
I don't think that I'm fit enough to deal with Slim Jims and juice boxes playing Final Fantasy 7
Sodium, a little too much sodium in
on my
those.
big TV. Yeah, on my big TV versus the probably like I don't know 20-inch tube TV I probably played it on back then.
Oh yeah, no,
So,
mine was at least 28, at
oh,
least
there you go.
28.
Good for you.
And I oh my god, tube TVs, man, f those. Now we have flat
Yeah,
screens. Like, oh
right.
my god, we're spoiled now.
Flat
This is
screens for
great.
days.
So big.
I mean, I would never if you talked to me when I was younger and say you're gonna have 3 computer
Yeah,
monitors that are all gonna be flat screens. You're gonna be doing a podcast about video games. I'd be like,
people are
well,
gonna watch you online do
I'd be
this.
like, what's a podcast and how can I take advantage of this? But
So now
so
here's an
yeah,
interesting. Okay, so now
mhm,
here's something else I want to go spin off that nostalgia, right? All right, Nintendo. And
yeah,
we've discussed this before, and I think you agree with me too when I say that Nintendo is the best at making a video game. Okay, a true, at the deepest core of its creator, a video game that people like to play because they like playing games. And something like Super Mario, right? That has extreme nostalgia behind it. And the
mhm,
interesting thing with Super Mario is that they have never actually, and I might be wrong with this, Donkey Kong, I think I'm more positive that this is the case. Let's use Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong, I'm pretty sure they've never actually made like a remake. They just make another iteration of the game. So there's like a billion Super Marios out there, right? And they
right,
all are the same concept. It's like Godzilla. We were just talking about the movie Godzilla, right? It's
mhm,
all the same concept, but it's a different movie. It's a different game, right? And they're
right.
just playing better graphics, better control.
Different gameplay a lot too.
So there's like two different ways to go about it. There's the way that Final Fantasy VII went about it, and then there's the, which I think is the smartest way. I think selling it in 3 games is smart, but I think the smartest way is, let's never let this game die. This game will continue on forever, every 2 years when we make another iteration of it, and we're going to make bank. And that's exactly what Nintendo's done.
Mhm,
And I think that's absolutely ingenious. So they're playing off nostalgia permanently, no matter what they release under the Super Mario name. And that's why
yeah,
Nintendo does so well.
yeah, and they will
So
continue to do so. That's
yeah,
it.
as long as I'm on this planet, I buy all their freaking games.
Yeah,
So,
honestly, I don't think I've bought a third-party Nintendo game. Everything's been direct Nintendo
oh
games
yeah, no,
that
there's
are
no
made
reason. There's
specifically for the
actually,
Switch.
they have their niche market, and nobody will ever compete with
Right.
them, at least anytime soon. Like, you don't buy Call of Duty on Switch. If you do, then you're not actually a gamer. So
Or Mortal Kombat for
yeah,
those who may be listening
yeah,
who bought
exactly.
Mortal Kombat on the Switch.
Yeah,
You know who you are. You
you
know who you are.
yeah, we
You
know,
know
we're
who you
watching.
are.
You don't do that. Like, that's just not an option. You buy Donkey Kong, you buy Mario, you buy Metroid, you buy Super Smash, you buy Mario Kart, and like maybe
And
3 other
Luigi's
games.
Mansion.
That Luigi's Mansion, Animal Crossing, like there's like a handful of like 10 to 15 games that you buy on Nintendo no matter what.
Right.
Otherwise, you don't buy anything for that system.
You buy it on the Xbox.
Yeah, you buy. Excuse me? Excuse me?
I got you. You
No, no,
got,
no,
you got
no,
you.
no.
I got you.
You buy it
You
on
said
the
yes.
PlayStation, damn it!
Yeah, buy it on the Xbox.
Oh man. All right.
All right. So moving on to the Xbox, more Xbox news has come about, and this lends credence. The rest of this episode is going to lend credence to
you like
the
that word today.
speculation. Yeah, why not?
You like-
Speculation,
I noticed that.
rumors, all that fun stuff about Microsoft's Gold package and what's going to happen with it. So, it came to light this week that Halo Infinite will be offering free multiplayer, which means you don't need to have gold subscription, you don't need to have Game Pass to get on Halo Infinite, beat the campaign, and then say, hey, let me do some capture the flag with my friends. I can do that now without spending the $5 a month that you would normally spend for gold. So, you're the big naysayer in all this, in concern that Microsoft is not like focusing on like you were the one who was like, I'm worried that they're just going to say you're going to have to pay for Game Pass and do multiplayer. That's the subscription based way we're going about it. This lends huge credence to the fact that I believe they're going to allow multiplayer to be free across their entire platform, and that all you have to pay for, if you want, is the ability to access their library of games for a low monthly fee. But you also have the ability to buy the game outright if you so choose, which means now it's back to the old days. It's back to when you had a PlayStation 2 and you put that big ass network adapter on the back of it and you played games with friends. All you had to buy was the adapter and you
Yeah.
you have free multiplayer. Now we're
Well,
getting back to that time possibly.
but I okay, and maybe I'm misunderstanding this, but the way that I read this though is okay, multiplayer is free. If you buy the system, you are actually able to hop online for free. You're connected to the internet on that system for free. But you need to get Game Pass to access the game. So now,
No.
no, sorry. Or you can buy the actual game. So if I go out, right, I have a new Xbox and
Yeah.
Halo comes out and I buy the game and I stick it in, I already paid for the game. I don't need to pay for an internet.
Well,
I don't need to pay for multiplayer to get onto the internet.
correct, which means you don't have to own gold anymore.
Okay. All right. Now, so the only reason I would need Game Pass is if I only wanted to purchase basically a digital copy of the game.
No.
Or sorry, not purchase the digital copy, but access the game on the cloud, right? So
Digitally without
it's a
buying
digital,
it.
yeah. So it's a digital access. So basically, Game Pass is just if I only want to access games digitally,
And you don't want to pay $60 to own the game.
and you don't want to pay $6. Okay, yes. But so I do. All right. In general, I think that for the casual player, then yes, that's probably a good idea. If that is how this is going to work, I think that for the casual gamer, it's 100% great. They're going to appeal to a wider audience and actually get them more interested in playing multiplayer for one, and also get them to play games they probably wouldn't have because Game Pass, you can obviously get whatever
a
you
lot of
want.
indie games and stuff like that. Yeah.
So I think that like for something like an indie developer, that'll be really good.
Yeah.
I
Or even
still
for a big developer, or even for big developers that are
Yeah.
making different genre games.
Oh yeah, and
That
that
kind of
way
thing.
people are able to experience those. Yeah. So
Yeah, because I believe, for example, I think Bethesda was the one who's making that game Grounded that just came on like
oh yeah. Mhm.
I think that's part of Game Pass. So if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I know that it's kind of on it's Obsidian, excuse me, Obsidian Entertainment, but um
So
yeah,
now
it's in
how much
early access right now.
so how much is Game
So.
Pass going to be again?
So I believe currently, if you wanted a Game Pass subscription, it's $10 a month, and then if you want the Ultimate subscription, which includes PC access as well, that's $15 a month. But let's focus on the Xbox, since we're trying to focus on the Xbox Series X and how things are going to go. That means you're spending $120 a year to be able to access a multitude of
All
titles,
games. Yeah.
right? So the way I posed it when we talked about this the last time, and I will pose it again because this makes the most sense. If you were a hardcore gamer,
You're
right?
never going to
Like,
get Game Pass if you're a hardcore gamer.
liar.
I don't
Okay,
think so.
I own it. I have Game Pass, and if you
No,
don't think I'm a
now,
hardcore gamer,
like I have it now too. But if this happens with the multiplayer and stuff, there's no reason for
yeah, but
me.
you don't need Game Pass now, is what I'm saying. You didn't never needed it in the first
No, I
place.
got
You
it.
didn't
No,
put in gold.
no, no, I did because it gave like free stuff. I forget what it was. I
Oh,
downloaded something on my
oh,
PC.
really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, but what
Hmm.
I'm saying is, if you buy
Okay.
just the Xbox, I'm a PC gamer though, so you can't use
Okay.
me. If you're
Okay.
just
Okay. But I'm a
let's use
PC gamer
a
too.
regular
But
Xbox
no.
gamer as an
Okay. All
example.
right. Okay. All right. Regular Xbox gamer. Fable, Halo Infinite
Mhm,
come out in the same year. Let's say. Okay. Two AAA titles
mhm,
that you would buy. 100%
mhm.
tell me you would buy those
Oh yeah,
games.
100%. Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
How much money is that going to cost you?
For Fable and Halo.
Hmm.
I mean, well, give or take $120 depending on what the final price is. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I know. I know what you're saying.
So,
$10 a month.
but my
Mhm.
point is that if Microsoft can throw out two AAA titles a year that are going to go on Game Pass, it is
It's
logistically worth getting Game Pass, spending the $10 a month, not having to spend $60 in one shot. And after taxes, you're spending more.
I
So
think well, so all right. So
you're
from
technically spending
Microsoft's
more because you know the games are going to come out. For the AAA title, it's $59.99, 100%.
okay.
And if this game changer of a price change happens and it goes to 70, you're now making even more value.
Okay, so in general,
Hmm.
I do think that this is from Microsoft a smart decision. Like I think this is great. This is
Hmm.
going to make them money. And I think that there are people that can utilize this. Somebody who does play a lot of different games might
Right.
be able to abuse this and get access to a lot of games, be able to beat everything
Or
they want.
or a
And
family.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think like
yeah.
family's important too because you like kids and stuff.
My biggest issue though was the way that they handled. I forget what article they were talking about, but they were like, "Yeah, no, we're doing this because we care about the gamer or whatever they were trying to spin off for publicity." And if you think about it, the casual gamer, they're most casual gamers, they do have an Xbox Gold subscription. They may or may not use it. Who knows? They may or may not even play the game, but it's just like having any subscription that you forget about, right? So
Right.
I get that. In this case, now it's going to be a subscription they forget about, but now it's $120. And yeah, sure, the online access is free, but now it's the games that you're paying for that you're not playing because a casual gamer is not going to be playing every game under the sun.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
true,
kind of
but
my
it's
point.
still
They're gonna siphon more
but you can
money from the
still buy
casual
it.
gamers.
But see, that's the
No,
point.
no, no,
They're
no.
not
I know. That's why I
forcing
say
it to anybody.
overall,
But
this
they're
is
not
good.
forcing anything upon anyone. That's why I think they're trying to say we're doing this for the gamers now because you have a choice to do this now, and we're giving you multiplayer for free. Still
Yeah,
a
they do get the choice.
speculation, but it
Yeah,
seems like that's are going that way. But my point being is that you are not alienating anyone by doing this and you're not forcing anyone into
I agree.
something,
Yeah,
which is why I think they're trying to put a positive spin on it and say, hey, we're looking out for the gamer. And as far as I'm concerned, if you're saying you have a casual gamer who pays $10 a month for Game Pass and then decides to forget about Game Pass and just lets their subscription roll, well, guess what, buddy? That's every single
I
subscription based thing you've
yeah,
ever
yeah. No,
seen
I know,
in
I know,
your
I
god darn
know.
life.
I know, but that's
Okay.
why I mentioned it because we know it's going to happen. We know that casual
Listen,
gamers are going to. All right,
listeners, I implore you right now,
I, yeah.
go and look at your subscriptions. See what
Oh,
you're
you'll
paying
save money.
monthly for
You'll save
everything.
money.
You'll cancel some things and save. We are now making a PSA announcement. Do
Cancel your
you have too many
subs.
trials? I mean, do you have too many subscriptions and you're not
You know
paying
they
and
have
using them?
apps. You know they have apps that do
Yeah,
that now. They
you know?
track your subscriptions.
Yeah, I see all that stuff. It's
I
crazy.
I I listen. I will admit now after this Halo announcement, which kind of confirms that multiplayer will be free. Now maybe it's only for Halo, but I highly doubt it. I
Mhm.
do much more like what they're doing with this entire system. I still think it's not all daisies and sunshine and roses like they're trying to make it. Like we did this for the gamer and you guys are the only ones benefiting from this, not us. I think it's a
I don't
smart
think they
business
said that.
decision.
I don't
No,
think they said that.
they didn't say that word for word, but you know what I mean. It's just the way that they're phrasing it makes it, they're making it sound, I think, like they don't care about the money and it's just all about saving the gamers money. They're not going to save money. They're going to make more money. Microsoft is. The
Well,
gamers are going to
Microsoft's
end up
gonna make
spending more
more
money.
money, but
Yeah,
gamers are gonna end up saying, "All right, I'll put me for example. Me would be the perfect example of that, right? I'm gonna save money, because of the fact that listen, if they come out with two AAA titles a year that go on Game Pass,
hmm
I'm not paying $120+ now.
Mhm.
I'm paying $120 because it's $64 dollars basically after tax for a video game.
But again, my problem personally with that, and this is like I said before, a
And I'm not hardcore
minority.
about owning it.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, I'd say out of all gamers, this is casual, everybody included. I'd say maybe about 10% are of my, or maybe 15% are of my mindset where they want to own the games for either a collectible purpose or because they
Mhm.
want to own the rights of the game.
Yeah, and they can do that, and they
No, no,
can
no. Yeah, I
and
know,
you
I
can do
know.
that, and if you still have a GameStop near you, you can wait for it to get, used and then buy it used too,
I'm
unless you
worried.
want it
I'm honestly
unless
worried
you don't
GameStop
wanna
has
open it because, "Hey, alright, we wanna go to the collectible team? Oh boy, do I got something for you. Instead of having to buy 2 copies, 1 to play and 1 keep in the package, you can now keep it in the package and play it digitally." So there you go. I've just
Oh,
circumvented your
oh,
whole
oh, okay.
collectible
Oh,
section.
okay.
So
Yeah. All right.
now
No,
so
that's
if you're going
smart. I'm not gonna
collectible,
lie.
now you I have circumvented no,
So you're
circumvented your
saying buy it, keep it sealed for the future, and actually still have a Game Pass thing to play it.
yeah.
That's actually not a half bad idea. That prevents
I
you
know,
from
and
having
now
to
you're
buy two
cheaping
copies.
because now you're paying $120 for 2 copies
Yeah.
when you could just pay
Mhm.
$120 for the
It's
year,
like
get that game for whenever.
I bought 2 copies of the Final Fantasy X remaster when it came out.
Right,
So I'll
exactly.
probably
So
buy
see?
another one of Final Fantasy VII Remake too. So
But you see, that's my point.
Mhm.
So why what?
No, I give you credit. I give you credit. That was, yeah, I can't argue that. That's
Alright.
actually a really good way to use
So
it.
now
So
that I've beaten down SJW's soul, let's move on to the next piece of news, which is something that I actually found this morning. So, Game Pass has revealed their new updated look. Now, granted, it's nothing flashy, it's nothing special, but the fact that they're, I wouldn't say rebranding, but creating a brand new logo says that they're doing something big probably because why would you decide outside the fact that obviously you have a new system coming out, you want things to look similar to the new system
Mhm.
and the type of marketing and branding you're doing with that new system, it does make sense, but the fact that they did this to Game Pass but not to Gold says exactly what we're thinking.
Oh
Gold is
yeah,
no
yeah.
longer Gold is no longer here. It
They
is
didn't need to
going to
do
go
this.
away.
Yeah. They didn't need to do this to get us to know that. Like we knew it was gonna
No,
happen.
I know,
So
but everyone
yeah.
speculates and
Mhm.
nobody has officially said Gold will no longer be around for,
Mhm.
subscription base. You can play multiplayer for free. Um I wonder what they're going to do for people who have Gold subscriptions currently. I wonder if they're just going to let it roll and be like, "Hey, you prepaid for this. You have Game Pass with it. You'll keep it until till the subscription ends and then you can start paying for Game Pass, right?"
Mhm.
So, it's kind of like one of those things where it's just the logo looks very similar to what the Xbox Series X logo looks like. It's just the X and then it says Game Pass in gray, and we'll have a link to the article so you guys can see it. It's actually,
I'm
what
gonna pull it up real
show it
got
up. Yeah, pull it up real quick. It's nothing special or
this.
spectacular. The only reason we even brought this up mainly was because it just led more fuel to the fire that Game Pass is going to be replacing Gold as kind of the subscription based thing you want for your Xbox, and that you will play multiplayer for free. But if you want to access games, you like hundreds of games, do it on Game Pass,
So I just
including
pulled it up for everybody real quick. So if you are in the stream or you're watching the YouTube video, this is what the new
yeah,
logo looks like right here. I got your face on there too. I'm gonna
yeah, I can see it.
move you
I'm
away.
gonna double
So
Joe,
double
double
Joe,
Joe,
but we have
double Joe,
this is a new logo. Like you said, it looks very similar to the Xbox One Series
right?
X, and it's cool. I mean, I'm glad that they're rebranding and stuff. It does show that they are going all in. It seems on this Game Pass thing. One thing, and I'm sorry to backtrack to the last topic too. I mean, technically we've been on kind of the
This
same
is
topic the
kind
whole
of
time.
like a co-topic, yeah.
Well, more specifically about Halo though, right? So Halo, I just want to mention too. So they announced that the multiplayer will be free for Halo. Okay, that's all well and good, which is really good for Halo. But as we're both sort of thinking, I'm going to get rid of this now. As we're both sort of thinking, we both kind of agree that okay, it's probably going to be all the games for Xbox that are free multiplayer. So
Mhm.
the big thing with Halo, and this is going to be a real problem if they don't do this with Halo on its release. I'll probably still personally buy the game because I love Halo. They will probably still do okay, but not quite on the level of like Fortnite or PUBG or anything like that. If there is no BR, Battle Royale, if there is, and I don't mean the gun, not a battle rifle, BR, Battle Royale, if they did not make a freaking Battle Royale mode, which they did not preview when they announced the game, that's going to be a really bad move on the count of 343 Studios and Microsoft. That's just dumb. Like, if you don't understand by now that the next generation and the current generation is all about battle royales, then you're just actually stupid. And you should have put that in the game. If you didn't put it in the game, then I would just expect this game to do okay. They'll make a little bit of money off it, and it's going to fade into nothingness, which is going to not be cool, because I want Halo to be the number one shooter esport again, and it's not going to happen unless there's a battle royale mode. I know you don't care. Like, I don't even play. I get it. I don't play Battle Royale. I'm not crazy about Fortnite. I'm not crazy about Apex Legends or PUBG, but that's what the world wants. Like, that's how Ninja is Ninja because of Fortnite. Like, that's the world right now.
And now back to the show with your favorite segment of the week, Ruffhouse Deals.
Oh, yeah.
So, this week we have a couple of games. One that's currently out right now that wasn't announced on our podcast, that happened kind of looked like midweek and is going until August 6th. So you have a couple of days. It's called Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery EP. Help a wandering warrior monk complete her woeful errand in Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery EP, the landmark action adventure crafted by Super Brothers and the video game wizards at Cappy, featuring an award-winning original soundtrack by Jim Guthrie. So it looks like a pretty interesting, eclectic style game. So try that out if you want. It's free. It's not that much money if you bought it. I think it was like $8 or $10. And then another game coming out, which will be available on August 6th and will run through the 13th, is Wilmot's Warehouse. Wilmot's Warehouse is a puzzle game about keeping a warehouse running in tip-top shape. Just remember where you put everything, because when the service hatch opens, you'll need to find the things people want quickly to earn the coveted performance stars. So basically, if you want to work at the Amazon warehouse, get Wilmot's Warehouse so you can train to be a top tier Amazon warehouse technician. There you go.
That's so ridiculous. There's even a game for that.
So now,
oh my God. Don't. No. I will introduce it.
I'll let you introduce.
I will introduce it.
Like,
now,
all the upset pain you've had.
I can't take anymore. Guys, if anybody listening, I'm about to burst at the seams. Like, I need to go.
You're gonna cry if you're watching on YouTube.
I'm literally gonna cry. Okay. Deep breaths, guys. All right. Anyways, so with that said, we will be going through the video game releases next, which is really on the DL, your guys' favorite segment. Just saying. So you guys don't have to let Ruffhouse know, because we don't want to hurt his feelings or anything. But so, anyways, video game releases, and boy, we have a good one. We're back to the old. You guys will see with this last game here. So first up, we got Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, which confused both myself and Joe here when we first saw this game. This is not a boxing game. This is, if Ultimate Knockout might have given it away. Fall Guys is a massively multiplayer party game with up to 60 players online in a free-for-all struggle through round after round of escalating chaos until one victor remains. And it's just it's like a cartoony type game with a bunch of party games, similar to probably like Mario Party or something like that. So pretty cool. So that is actually going to be coming out on August 4th for PC and PS4. We have Hellbound for PC coming August 4th. Classic first-person shooter style game. Kind of, honestly, looks a little bit like a Doom ripoff, not going to lie. Like the good old days, an action game focused on speed, gore, guns, and metal music. Inspired by the 90s classics with modern visuals and audio. It's almost like they're implying they ripped off Doom, and they're just putting that in there as a disclaimer. It's like, yeah, we know we ripped off Doom. Just play our game. So, so Hellbound, like I said, that's going to come out August 4th as well for PC. Scully, August 4th for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. So Scully is, this is a little description here, on a mysterious remote island. A skull washes up on shore and is reawakened by wow, that's... Putting an enigmatic right next to each other is hard to read, like all in one sentence. So let me try this again. A skull washes up on shore and is reawakened by an enigmatic deity. That's hard. Dubbed
Deity.
Scully. No. I know deity. Well, it could be deity, by the way. All right. It's like tomato. Dubbed Scully. The new reanimated being has been summoned to intervene in a war between the deities, three siblings, whose quarrel jeopardizes the island they call home. That's by Finish Line Games and Modest Games as well. Then we have Call of Duty Warzone Season 5. Needs no introduction. Coming out PC, PS4, and Xbox One on August 5th. Drink More Glurp. I immediately thought of 7-Eleven when I read this title, by the way, just throwing that out there. Drink More Glurp is a wacky physics, sports-ish, hot seat party game. A lot of party games coming out. Set in a distant world where aliens have copied Earth's summer games and got everything slightly wrong. Compete in crazy contests with up to 20 local players or challenge the world on the global leaderboards. Catastrophic Overload. Developer, the Yogscast. Publisher, that is definitely a new type of game. I don't know where people get their ideas from sometimes. Fast and Furious Crossroads comes out for PC, PS4, and Xbox Ones on August 7th. We all know what Fast and Furious is. You guys don't need me to tell you. It's a car game. You got Vin Diesel. Not sure if Vin Diesel will actually be in this or not. Unfortunately, no more Paul Walker. RIP. But that will be coming out this month as well. Like I said, on August 7th. Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. Also needs no introduction. One of the better PlayStation games out there. Comes out for PC on August 7th. Inertial Drift. PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on August 7th. It kind of looks like a Need for Speed, I guess. Forget everything you know about drifting. Inertial Drift tears up the racing rulebook with innovative twin stick controls, completely reimagined driving mechanics, and a roster of fiercely individual cars. Developer Level 91 Entertainment. Publisher P-Cube Limited. I haven't heard of either of those. So that's interesting. New take on Need for Speed. And the last game that I was talking about. God, you got to love to see these. This is, all right, bear with me, everybody, while I say this sentence of a name. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon, infinite combat? All right, so I am not actually asking that question. That is indeed the title of this game, everybody. And it's basically, if you can imagine what the cover is, it's exactly what you think it would be from the title. And what's weird about this, Joe, would it be safe to say that every time we've seen a game with scantily clad women, it's usually very obvious that they're just trying to sell the game, and it's really not that great of a game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to confirm here. Believe it or not, at least just from looking, I have not played this yet. Although there is a girl with her, I guess, tatas, for lack of a better term, out on the cover in a bed, nonetheless. It actually looks like a half decent JRPG. Just looking at the combat in some of these screenshots and some of the videos, it actually doesn't look bad. It looks like it would hold your attention throughout the entirety of the game. And hey, you got some tatas too. So, I mean, I actually might consider picking this up if you guys are interested in JRPGs.
Listen, this is what they give for the mature content description. The developers describe the content like this. Some scenes depict characters in scantily clad clothing.
Wait,
It's at the bottom in Steam. Yeah, if you go all the way down to the bottom in Steam, where right before the system requirements, some scenes depict characters in scantily clad clothing. Like I said before, there are post-game quests that see various characters going out on dates to meet up and then sharing a hot spring. Some dialogue contains implied or inferred sexual content.
So, wow, that's like the most descriptive mature content description, or like any ESRB description I've ever seen. Like, to the point where they're even saying that they will be sharing a hot spring. Like, come on, spoiler alerts, anybody? Like, Jesus, you're giving spoilers in the mature content description. Oh boy. So, Yeah, awesome. So actually a game that looks like it might be worth considering, but that is it. Oh, and actually that comes out on the 7th for PC, PS4, and Switch
Right.
as well.
And
So
I wonder if it's asked like that because, usually what happens is a hero saves a female from a dungeon and then they probably like get together. So it
mhm.
could be that they're just asking the question, like, is it wrong to save the girl and then go out on a date with them after you save them in a dungeon?
I mean, it's probably the right thing to do. It seems like the right thing to do. I mean, technically the girl is a little biased now.
Apparently it was initially released back in 2019, or is this
I don't
yeah,
think so.
something. Well, it says something on there. I was googling it, and because I wanted to see if this is just like a game or if there's like an anime attached to it or something. Um,
I feel like there's not an anime that's called "Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?" Like, I don't know. I think this is just a standalone game. It says that release date is August 7th, 2020 on Steam, anyways, and
yeah, I don't
usually
know
it comes
why.
out on Steam before PS4 and stuff.
Yeah, I don't
So
know. Maybe it was maybe in Japan or something, and this is an American release. I don't know because it's like it's just on Google, so maybe Google's not updated, which is very rare, but it's always possible that that could be the case.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So there you go. So that is it. That's it. And yeah, guys, there will probably be some clickbait on our YouTube channel for this. So don't worry about it. No big deal.
is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? I'm just saying. I mean, that's the only question we're asking in this week's episode. And
Did you save them?
um,
That should have been the question of the week.
yeah, right.
Now that we think about it, have we done? We have to review everything we've done,
Yeah.
the whole entire episode, and now we just have to say it.
Redo. Is it wrong?
Is it wrong? And I'm gonna say no because you know what? If you can save them from the dungeon,
You
I mean,
deserve a reward.
you
Yeah.
deserve to go on.
Yeah,
Fair.
you
We'll
deserve
let them choose whether or not they go any further than that. But
it. Oh, good. I like.
especially if the hero still pays for dinner afterwards. Not only
You
did
got to
he
be
save you
chivalrous.
from monsters,
Yeah.
not only did he save you from monsters, but he's also willing to pick up the check.
You're chivalrous in the
That's right.
dungeons and the table.
That guy. What can I say? So that's going to do it for this week's edition of Game Wild. I would like to thank everyone for coming aboard, listening to us, watching us live, going through some of our trials and tribulations as we did. But what I would really like you to do is to like everything, follow us, 5 stars, ring that bell on YouTube, do all that fun stuff because we need your support. That way we can continue to give you this great content, including, if you haven't noticed, our updated logos and our updated cover art, which is pretty cool. So,
Oh yeah.
thank everyone, and we will see you next week.
Later, everybody.